Hello, everybody. One of the things that people have consistently enjoyed over the years on the channel is some of my reflections on the time that I spent overseas in Asia, the 5 years that I lived in the greater China region. And of those things, I never really discussed. I've discussed transitioning and being transgendered in China and what that means to a person that finds themselves trans. But I wanted to talk about the topic of romance because most of my years were spent living in Hong Kong. And Hong Kong is about, it has the population size of New York City, a little bigger than the population of all of the five boroughs of New York, in a land area that's about 1/4 of the size of the greater New York area. So to say it's crowded is a tremendous understatement. In fact, that in some parts of Tokyo are the densest populated places on planet Earth. And you can feel it every day. So when it comes to romance, particularly when you're a young person, it's very problematic. And the media does a lot there to hype. At the time that I was in Hong Kong in particular, they followed the British trends very slavishly and American trends when it came to beauty and fashion, and to some extent the great French houses, Givenchy and Lacombe and some of the Louis Vuitton. But predominantly, they tried to push the luxury concept on people. And, women and men really ate that up over there and pushed fashions and talked about romance a lot. And if you have this perfume, you'll be the belle of the ball. Or if you have this particular dress or this particular, you got to have this purse. It's a must have from Burberry. It's going to make your life happy. And all the posters on the street and all the advertising was always geared towards that. Beautiful young couples looking out over Hong Kong Harbor, or being on the Star Ferry crossing from Kowloon to Hong Kong, and the magnificent views that you get there. But interestingly enough, when it came to actual romance in Hong Kong, and especially the idea of having sex, it was a very, very difficult proposition. Let's consider how it's different from a place like the United States. Number one, the density of living there compared to the average place in the U.S. is on an epic scale. It's exponentially greater number of people. It's hard to find open space in Hong Kong. It's hard to be in a place where you're truly alone. The only place that you can almost be guaranteed to be alone is in a bathroom in your own tiny little flat in Hong Kong. And that's a really daunting thing. You can't be out on the streets. The parks are very small. They're not the places, they're overloaded with people doing gongqi, and all kinds of just early morning exercises. The ones that came down from communist China that now live in Hong Kong, but they still have their morning, communist Chinese exercise routines. Old habits die hard. That's the first problem, the density. There's no space anywhere. The second problem is nobody has a car in Hong Kong. The average person can't afford a car. The luxury tax is incredibly high. They don't want cars on the roadway. They want everybody using mass transportation, and there's no place to park a car. Okay, parking is like ridiculously hard to find in Hong Kong. And even if you buy a flat, the parking conveys separately from the apartment that you buy, the condo that you buy. You have to buy the parking separately, and a parking spot can run up to $100,000 to $500,000 US, depending on location. I know it's insane. But because there's not that car culture, what I notice when people are romantic, now don't ask me where they consummate their love. I have no idea. Maybe they wait till, dad's away on business in China and mom's out shopping at the wet market or whatever for groceries and meats. I have no idea what they do, right? But there's a lot of people there, so something must be going on in Hong Kong. But Lordy, to be out on the streets with the density of people and what's going on over there, what I've noticed is that people will walk a lot. They will go down to the waterfront and they will hang out at the harbor. They'll get on the tram, the old fabled tram that runs across the Hong Kong and around Hong Kong Island, the old rickety tram you could ride for 60 cents or whatever all over, and just take a ride for 2 hours across Hong Kong Island, or and it, so they do get that together time, and they do get a cheap date. And the third thing that is amazing is that food becomes a centerpiece of romance too. Food, although housing is very expensive in Hong Kong, incredibly expensive housing in Hong Kong, the food is relatively cheap on the streets, and there's a ton of different choices. There's very stiff competition in food, so prices can be very low. So you'll find a lot of couples will linger for hours at the Jollibee restaurant, which is a Philippine-based fast food chain, or the McDonald's, or the Starbucks, or the Dunkin' Donuts, and places like that, and they'll hang out for hours and hours down there too. But as far as being able to actually have sex, man, that's a bird of a different feather. You live in a place like that, and yeah, good luck. Say to yourself, well, let's get a hotel room. Yeah, you better have $500 in your pocket. They don't have the concept of the no-tell motels over there. Well, they probably do, but I just didn't see any over there. All right. Anyway, thank you guys for listening, and have a wonderful day.